Hi and welcome to another Photoshop manipulation tutorial, and this time guys what we're going to be focusing on is this particular image here, and just kind of like my thought process in regards to how I went about designing it, and just give you guys some inspiration and to be able to create something very much similar. Now in regards to this particular one here, as we can see, we're going for a bit more of a sci-fi theme. What we're going to do here quickly is we're going to turn off the layers, and I will just give you a quick run through of how I went about creating this particular image. And it's very much quite simple to do in regards to how it was done. So as we see here, we got obviously this is the background. Now the reason that I chose this particular background is because I found this particular Earth image that I really wanted to use. So I went with that, and then obviously I wanted the sky to kind of really like match the way that the Earth was. And as you can see with this particular image, the Earth is very, very blue. So this one, the sky actually went really, really well. So went with this one, and then obviously as you can see, we've got the Earth here. Now in regards to the Earth, what I've done is I've got all these different mask layers and stuff like that. Basically, once you turn this lot off, I'll show you that now. These are the actual clouds that we've actually got going across. But with this is all different masks and stuff. As you can see, we've got like exposure levels and stuff down there at the bottom, just to actually try and like brighten it up a little bit. And then also, as you can see, we've got this beautiful glowing edge around the outside. So obviously I want to give it a bit more depth. I wanted to make it stand out a little bit more rather than just the Earth just being plonked up into the sky. Obviously with planets, as we know, when you look up into the sky, the planets are pretty much just sat there. But we want to give this one a bit of a glow because there was quite a bit of light. Now the light on the, as you can see on the Earth on the left hand side. Now with that, obviously this was actually come with the actual image itself. That's why I quite like the actual way the Earth was there. So it's pretty much light up. So that one was easy. So we just wanted to add a bit of a glow effect to it. Then in regards to these clouds here, they'll show you exactly how they come about. Obviously we've got the clouds here, but one thing is for these is the mountains. Now I found this particular one, this was a very, very good find in regards to the actual image that I was making, because obviously as you've seen in the beginning, there was a missile coming over and it's crashing into the actual mountains. Now this particular image, right, I found looking pretty much exactly like this, and I was really, really happy with it because I could actually just basically use the light source. I don't know why there was this weird light source here, but it kind of like really matched where the actual missile was landing. Then obviously we've got like the lights shining over here on the right hand side, you know, the big dark shadows. We've got like all the light then exploding here to the left hand side. It worked really, really well. So that was a little bit of a good find for myself there. Obviously, as you can see here, all I've done basically was just change the hue and saturation, colors and stuff like that, just to try and make it so that it all looks properly good, just like you would with any other image. So that one was a really, really good find. And then we've got actual Mars. Now, for this one, I actually did find on the NASA website. So this is actually a picture of Mars. As far as I'm concerned, it could have been one of their things that they've done in like studio. But as far as I'm concerned, this is actually from Mars itself. With this one, we did have a few things here. Actually, like on, there was like a little rover with like these little legs pointing down and stuff. Didn't want that in the actual image whatsoever, so I managed to obviously use content aware and use the clone tool and stuff. So we just edited that out. So if you want to find this particular image, just go on the NASA website, you'll be able to find it there. Then as you can see, we've got the little robot up here. That's actually obviously come with the actual image when we downloaded it. But also, as you can see, with these two actual pictures here, they go really, really well together. So it just looked like they butt up quite well, nicely. Obviously, we covered that, so it looks like it's a bit of a drop off there, and it goes down into the valley and one else. We've got all the mountains in the background, so it really, really suits really, really well in regards to that. Obviously, we've just made some basic changes in regards to that. Almost the wrong one. With this one, obviously exactly the same again, just changed some exposure and that lot, obviously added the colour as well. I will say that obviously we've got the shadow here, which will be where the car is, but with the way that the missile is going to be coming over this particular hill here, or over the Earth, sorry, into the hills, obviously we need that bright light. So obviously we're trying to make this one a little bit more brighter, but we'll go through that in 2 seconds. Right, so next, probably the most important part is probably the missile. So let's go through this one. Obviously I've managed to move stuff around by accident. I don't know how I managed to do that, but I have. But basically what's happened is like we got this missile, it's traveling over the top of the Earth and it's coming crashing down into this particular planet. Now for this one, once again, it is another NASA image as well. This is actually the I don't know if it's like a shooting star or whether it is actually a missile. missile, but we've got this arch. But this was actually on, like I say, like on the sky and stuff like that. So what we've had to do is we've had to mask out the actual sky and then like try and blend it out the best way that we possibly can, and then do it once again, and just to try and get as much of the color and whatnot else. And as you can see, we masked out the sky really well, because obviously we couldn't really cut it out too easily, because obviously we've got that way that it's stroking over, we've got the glow and that lot. But once you actually add once you actually do with the mask and that lot, as you can see, done 2 of them, changed the exposure and that lot. I think we did a couple of like levels and stuff just to make sure that it blended in really nicely, and it worked out very well indeed. Now normally this would absolutely just settle straight into there. I'm not really too sure why it's actually moved, but it has somehow. But it does sit somewhere like that anyway. Oh, actually, maybe it doesn't. Maybe I'm telling a lie. Maybe we changed it because of the flare. Okay, so basically, anyway, just me going crazy. So we've got the missile coming in there. Obviously, that's glowing. Like I say, you can find that on the website. And then we have this one here. This is another good find. I'm not too sure. The guy that absolutely makes these, he gives them away. I'm not really too sure what site it is either. But I basically just look through loads of different places and just try and get lucky in regards to finding pictures. So for this one, I seen this and I just thought that this works really well. It looks like a futuristic Mars kind of rover thing that's going on. As you can see with the window here, got really lucky as well, because the way that this actually was made before I cut it out was actually on this kind of surface. So I didn't have to worry about the windows too much. As you can see, it really goes with the background as well. With this also, though, we just basically just had to make all the kind of adjustments. So like the color, obviously, as you can see with the yellow on here with the yellow highlights, obviously, because we got this coming from the missile, so we needed to make sure that we had some color. Then it's just basically all your exposure levels and whatnot else, just to try and make sure that the actual car suits really well. And then in regards to this, also we have the shadow as well, and just make it, add all the shadows underneath the wheels and whatnot else, just to make sure that it looks like it really is there. But just the kind of basic kind of things that you usually do when you place an actual image into these kind of scenes. And then what we've got here is these source lights here. Now this is probably why I thought it moved. So what I basically got these to do was, I think it was on DeviantArt, and I actually got like just some like lens flares. So I downloaded some lens flares and that lot, because what I wanted it to do is, obviously with taking into mind that this is like kind of like a photo kind of thing. So taking a photo at the moment that this missile's exploded. So we just wanted that big streak of light to make it really dramatic as it went out. And then we got that lens flare that's going to be bouncing off the camera's lens, just to give it that bit of extra. Because if we just took those away, it looks pretty goddamn simple, just where it went in there. You just add a little bit of light. But the lens flares, it makes it look like it's got a really bright, deep explosion going on there. And that's just like the moment of impact. So obviously there's not going to be any dust or any explosions or anything else like that, because this is the exact moment of impact. As soon as it just starts to light up, then obviously everything would erupt afterwards. So we didn't really have to worry about any of those kind of things whatsoever as well. Moving on as well, going back to the actual the actual Earth here. As you can see now with these clouds, so if we take these away, obviously it doesn't look quite as right. Obviously it doesn't really matter too much. Maybe there isn't as like would be any clouds or anything else like that being there, but it just kind of like blends everything into the scene just by having these clouds just subtly across the bottom. Don't want anything really too strong or anything else like that, because we will still want it to be a nice clear night. We will still want to be able to see everything, but just like draws everything in very well and just kind of like blends it all together. So I much preferred it like that without actually going without any clouds whatsoever. And then we have the boy here. Now the reason that I put him in, you can use a spaceman, you can use anything that you want, an astronaut or anything. The reason that I do have this is because I use these kind of images for other work processes, and I put people into actual images myself. And so I was just basically showing people what like their kid would look like actually in the image. So this is the reason that I've gone about it. But you could be, as adventurous as you want. You could have aliens, anything else into this particular picture. So I found this boy online. I think there's another one on DeviantArt, and I basically just got him just stood here facing towards the actual missile. He's just watching it kind of like exploding. Obviously with this we had to make a load of changes. Obviously, as you can see, he's really dark. Also, I edited him out, placed him into the scene in that lot. Kind of like what I've done, which is like kind of like size him. Now, he does look like maybe he's too big, but I think he sits just right, because once we put him over to this side into the actual car, he does sit into it quite well. So once he stands over it, the colour size does kind of work. Trust me on that one. But, I mean, obviously you can change it up as much as you want. But once I edited him in, basically placed him to there, I have then obviously just made all the corrections, because obviously we didn't want him that dark, so we had to brighten him up a bit. Obviously add some colour. And then obviously with the actual edges of the young lad, what we had to do was obviously I used, just did edit, 50% grey layer, filled that in, and then just used dodge and burn. Basically burnt all the actual outsides of it just to make sure that it's really, really bright. And then obviously we added some color in there as well, just kind of like match the way that this light is coming over as well. And then that one pretty much finished it off. I did then just make some basic corrections, and as you can see, once we join everything together, it's nothing too crazy, just brightens up a little bit, makes the sky and that lot a little bit darker, a little bit richer, and I was quite happy, just basically just playing around with a few different ideas until I come up with this particular image. So I hope you guys found this helpful. I hope it gives you guys some inspiration. I will be improving and everything else as we go along the way. Let me know if there's any ways that you would actually like me to go about showcasing how I actually create some of these images. But I also do now start streaming on Twitch and designing live as well. So I will then start putting those particular designs, those live designs, and maybe doing like a speed art and placing them onto YouTube as well. But I hope you guys found this helpful, and thank you very much.